Hey everybody, it's me, it's Bill Barton. This is a message going out to all community life architects. I hope you guys are doing great. It's beginning of November, November 2nd actually, Monday evening here in the community life layer headquarters, my apartment. So this is my new apartment in Romeoville, Illinois. So wherever you guys are at, whether it's out in Michigan or Chicagoland or down in Texas, Ricky and Ned, this is where I'm at right now. This is my home for the time being. So I want to let you guys know about a couple nuts and bolts things, some cool things that are going on. First of all, we had 2 new locations start just yesterday, this month. So we have Clover Ridge, so you guys probably saw the e-newsletter, Jess and Eli and little baby Asher, that's going on there. So that's something to celebrate and some new people to be praying for right now. And also we have another location down in Galveston, Texas, Club of the Isle, that's also starting as of yesterday. So they're getting with it. So that's Ricky and Ned. So pray for those guys, encourage them, send them an email. Just let them know that you're thinking of them and that you're going through all the same stuff that, or they're going through all the same stuff that you guys have been through before. So those are the cool things that are going on. A couple nuts and bolts things are happening. You all should have gotten in the mail a packet from our wonderful assistant, Lindsay Villaro, Community Life National IFC Community Life Assistant, Lindsay Villaro, and she sent out a packet of sign-in sheets for just resident functions and events and things like that. So from now on, at request via the company Marquette, we are going to fill out those sign-in sheets and report on those. So all you have to do is have people sign their names, get their email addresses. Maybe that's helpful for you if they aren't signed up for the e-newsletter yet. And then make a copy of that after the event is over. Give that to the apartment manager and then save that original copy for yourself and for the report at the end of the month, which brings me to the next point. It's the beginning of the month, so please try to have your reports done really by the 5th of each month, so that you can give those to your apartment managers, so that apartment managers can use that information so they can report in their monthly reports to their bosses and things like that. So that's it. We've got some new properties starting. We've got monthly reports to be filling out right now, including the new resident event sign-in sheets for every event starting in November. Couple other pieces of new information. We have a new community life intern. His name is Adam. I'm going to send out a picture of him in the next e-newsletter, but he's actually my roommate here in my apartment. So he lives here and he helps out do more behind the scenes administrative things for community life, and he's going to be in and out of the picture a little bit, so you guys will get the chance to see him, meet him eventually. But that's another kind of cool new thing we're doing with community life. Got a couple other properties that we're going to be starting in the next couple months at the beginning of the year, so be praying for that. I'm kind of in heavy recruiting process right now, so I'd really appreciate your guys' prayers for that. Other than that, I wanted to share something with you guys tonight. Just be a couple minutes. I want to read you a quote out of this book called Belonging, Our Need for Community and Church and Family by a guy named S.D. Gady. This is a book. I'm actually doing a class right now for grad school, and this was one of the books I came across for that. And it has a really important, I think, a really important lesson for all of us to think about as we're trying to connect people in their local neighborhoods. Like, what's this ultimate purpose of connecting people? Ultimately, we're trying to connect people to help them build quality relationships where care is going to be given and care is going to be received. But this is the quote I want to have, and to give a little context to this, this is kind of describing or kind of contrasting a modern relationship. So kind of living in our world today, how has modern technology, how has modern living affected a relationship? So that's kind of the whole context of this, and I'm going to read this and give you just an insight or two from that, and then that'll be it for the night. So this is what we got. It says, but in the modern context of relationships, many are relationships in which people have invested nothing personally and they are meaningless to that person, though they may be helpful and functional. Let me put it bluntly, none of these relationships consist of people who care more than theoretically whether a person lives or dies. It's not that these people are hard-hearted. I mean, they may often have hearts of gold. Rather, the point is that they do not have a caring relationship with one another. there's a great story in the Bible. You guys probably know of it. It's a parable of Jesus. It's the story of the Good Samaritan, where you have the priest and the Levite who pass alongside of this man who has been beaten and stripped, and they leave him there. They're the people in that world, in that culture, in that society who were expected to care for this person. And then the Samaritan comes along, the guy who, no one in that time would have thought would have been the guy who cares about this individual. But yes, the Samaritan, he picks up the guy, he bandages him, he takes him and pays for his care at the end. Like, we all know that story. And it's that Samaritan's care for that person who shows and demonstrates the true love that God has, or that the true love of God being shown through that Samaritan. And so kind of the thing I want us to think about after reading that quote about we live in a world and a society where they're not really caring relationships, and to kind of use that illustration of the Good Samaritan as the caregiver, the lover in that story, is to think about the people on your own property who, I don't even know who would be the Levite or the priest in our world. At least in Jesus' time in that parable, there were people who would be expected to care for someone who they found that was beaten up and left abandoned on the side of the road. But to be honest, I don't even know if there's expectation in our day and time about who would be the people who are supposed to be caregivers in our society. But the truth is, just as it surprised everyone at that time to hear of the Samaritan being the caregiver, the people you encounter and the people that you care for, I think will be equally as surprised and equally as influenced and equally as impacted by your care for them on your properties. I think what we're ultimately trying to do is connect people into relationships on their properties and around the community that are going to be caring relationships. And that may happen by connecting people to service projects in the local churches. May even just happen by connecting them to local local biking clubs. Wherever there are people, there's a chance for care to happen, but also wherever there are people, there's a chance for neglect and not care to happen. But the same is absolutely true when you're not engaging anyone as a person. You can't have care if there are no people around you. So what we're trying to do is help connect people to relationships that are going to be life-giving relationships of blessing, where care is going to happen and care is going to be given. But you, first and foremost, are the ultimate model of that care on your property. I've said repeatedly that you're culture creators, you're culture redeemers, you're culture transformers, and that all happens first and primarily through the care that you give on property and through the care that you're encouraging other residents to give to other residents. And so that is my hope and prayer for you guys, is that you're the primary caregivers in that community. If that happens at an event or through an event, or if that just happens through random stories where you're trying to borrow an egg for someone and they start crying, and so you listen to them and you care for them and pray for them, or if you invite a neighbor out who is new to the area and you go with them for a cup of coffee, or go with them to the Buffalo Wild Wings, or if you take them to church with you, if you take time in your life to listen and care for other people in whatever way they need to be cared for, you will be the model, and you will be the primer, the leader, and the influencer in your apartment culture to help change that culture, to help create those relationships of care, that community of caregiving, and that's ultimately going to make a big godly difference in the lives of people and the lives of those properties. So that's my encouragement. People need caring relationships, and Christians and people of God need to be the people who are absolutely providing and giving those caring relationships. So that's my encouragement to you guys. God bless you. I will talk to you again really soon. Have a great night.